This is a different kind of market, and the Fed is asleep.
There are three types of people in our country: those who save and invest, those who could easily save more but choose not to, and those for whom savings is very difficult. If Federal Reserve policy creates strong economic growth and keeps inflation low, everyone can benefit. However, if inflation rises, people who are less well off will suffer more.
The Federal Reserve seeks solely to get as high a level of real material well-being as we can by setting a platform of stability. We cannot pick and choose amongst various areas of the population because we just have no means of doing that. If fiscal policy is lax or savings are exceptionally low, there is nothing monetary policy or any central bank can do about that. We cannot live in the present only. Human beings cannot survive unless they create provision for the future.
Americans must start to save again, and they need to invest those savings to help create a better future for themselves, their families, and our country. At the same time, Americans need to know that the money that they are saving will hold its value. Too much easy credit for too long can create a false sense of wealth. No one plays a more important role in all of this than the Federal Reserve.
I think I got it. I buy something I want and then hope that I can pay for it, right?
No. You make sure you have money, then you buy it.
Oh, then you buy it. But shouldn't you buy it before you have the money?
No.
Why not?
It's in the book. It's only one page long. The advice is priceless and the book is free.
Wow, I like the sound of that.
Yeah, we can put it on our credit card.
So get out of debt now. Write for your free copy of Don't Buy Stuff You Cannot Afford. And if you order now, you'll also receive Seriously, if you don't have the money, don't buy it.
When I say trade deficit, do you know what that means?
Deficit usually means something like disorder or something, so something is wrong with it. It's not good.
It's the money that the United States owes. Wait a minute.
I have no clue. Sorry.
I have no idea.
I think it's something along the lines of you've borrowed more than you've spent.
Is the trade deficit with other countries, maybe?
So if we have a trade deficit, we're importing more than we're exporting.
Okay, there it is.
In 2007, China had the largest trade surplus in the world. And who was dead last? The United States of America.
I've always liked business, I've always liked investments, I've always liked economics, but I'm a disaster. You know, if you ask me, you know, what happens to a split atom or what happens to a cell within a body. So different people are wired different ways. A few years ago, I wrote an article for Fortune on sort of the parable of Squandersville and Thriftsville, which was designed to simplify for people problems inherent in persistent and large trade imbalances. Economics tends to put people to sleep, and I thought maybe by creating a couple of islands with inhabitants of quite widely different activities that it might get across a point that otherwise they get lost on. The thrust is that if you own a lot of property, an island in this case, you can trade it off for the things that you eat and consume every day, and you can do that for a long time, but eventually you run out of property and then you have to work a whole lot harder to provide your own needs, but also to pay back for the debt you've incurred. Short-term actions have long-term consequences that sometimes people don't think about in the short run. In the last few decades, but accentuating in the last 6 or 8 years, this country has started consuming considerably more than it produces. Because we're so rich, we can do it for a long time and we can do it on a large scale, but we can't do it forever. Eventually you run out. I mean, it's like a credit card. My credit's pretty good at the moment, and if I want to go out and quit working and have no income coming in but keep spending, I can first of all sell off the assets I have, and then after that I can start borrowing on my credit card, and if I've got a good reputation, I can do that for quite a while. But at some point I max out, and at that point I have to start producing a whole lot more than I consume in order to clean up my debts. In this country, we have seen imports increase from 5% of GDP to 17% or so of GDP in the last 35 or so years, and yet we have 4.5% unemployment, and we have a very, very prosperous country. So it's a good thing for us. What is not good is the imbalance between imports and exports. The rest of the world is buying more and more of our goods all the time, but at an even greater rate, we're buying more and more of theirs. That's not good. More trade overall is good as long as it's true trade. If it's pseudo-trade, where we're buying but not selling, I do not think that's good over time.
If you're buying more than you're selling, which is what a trade deficit is, eventually your trading partners are going to own a lot of your wealth. When they are not buying your goods and services with this money, they will be looking for ways to invest it. Running large and persistent trade imbalances can be problematic, especially when a country has a low savings rate and its government needs to borrow more money every year to pay its bills.
When the federal government needs to borrow money,
Yeah.
do you know how they do that?
Don't know.
No. I don't. I don't know.
That is a very good question. I'm under the assumption that everyone else borrows money from us, so...
There's gonna be some giant global repo man that's gonna come by in like 2012 and be like, guys, it's been quite a while, you're way late. You got like interest piling up. We're gonna have to take all your blonde people. I'm sorry.
More savings out of income are required to finance the growing American economy. Savings bonds are one of the finest savings devices. They are a safe, sound investment for the buyer and a source of strength for the nation.
The country has asked the people to invest $1 billion in 1 month to help pay for the war.
The world's free people are united in their determination. Get those bonds. You're sure to be the happier for it.
Get on, get on, get on the road to victory. Get off, get off, get off the rusty, dusty, and
In the past, when we ran large budget deficits, our government turned to Americans to borrow that money. After World War II, virtually all the federal debt was owed to Americans. Today, our high budget deficits, our low personal savings rate, and large trade deficits have caused us to become increasingly reliant on foreigners to finance our debt and provide capital for investment. There's nothing inherently wrong with this in the short term, and the truth is America lends money to other countries. However, as our reliance on foreign lenders increases every year, one might ask, what are the longer-term consequences?
We got another bond to buy.
The American people are a great people. The Chinese people are a great people. The gate to friendly contact has finally been opened.
China is probably the biggest global economic story that there is going right now. It affects everything from big business, Wall Street, to down home America.
I have a mission. We want to make a brand name. We want to make a good factory. We want to make some nice products. We want to catch up with somebody in front of us. We know what our future is. And frankly speaking, I never imagined I can own such a land and make such a big building. People around me get a better living standard. That's good for me. The feeling is terrific. When every month I give salary to my workers, I feel I'm very proud about that.
对对，这个也是我们相遇的地方。他有一颗善良的心 ，It's hard， 然后对我挺关照的，然后我们俩共患难来到这个地方。其实这个也是中国的传统文化。我们总共是4000块钱，除了生活以外，生活和房租以外，然后还剩余2500。我们在外面，然后经历一些风雨啊，然后感觉这种传统应该坚持下去。作为一个人，他都应该有一个目标。我们的目标就是说，以后将来为我们有个舒适安静的环境啊，或者是说有辆车啊。
Chinese people are worried about the same things that Americans are worried about. They're worried about their health care, they're worried about their retirement, they're worried about boosting their own income. What scares a lot of Americans about China's growing prowess and the 1 trillion plus in foreign exchange reserves is a lot of that money is invested in U.S. Treasury bonds, in U.S. government debt that is keeping U.S. interest rates low and house prices high in the U.S. and allowing the U.S. economy to continue to grow quite well. A lot of people worry that somehow China is going to suddenly ask for its money back and walk away from the U.S. economy. You know, one wouldn't exist without the other one, and I think increasingly the relationship between China and the U.S. is growing tighter, at least economically.
We are a scrap processing facility. That means that we buy the material and process it in a form that mills, steel mills, aluminum mills, copper and brass mills, foundries can consume in their furnaces to produce new metal. The material goes to China, it goes to Korea, Thailand, starting to ship into Vietnam, India, some into Japan. It's consumed by what would otherwise be a U.S. mill. Now that material is going to foreign mills. We've killed our industrial base. We've killed or are killing what made us a great nation. We're giving it to China, to India, to all the other nations of the world to produce our goods. And we're a net importer when we should be a net exporter. The only thing we're net exporting is scrap.